I mean, we were so dumb. You're supposed to say, how dumb? Come on now. I mean, we were so dumb in that school. One day the teacher passed out a test. And it was in Spanish because there were a lot of Puerto Ricans in our school, and they made a mistake and passed out the wrong test. We took it. One week I was playing hooky. Played hooky so much, I guess they call it hooky out here. You know, it's supposed to be in school or not. I played hooky so much, I had my own truant officer. My mother spent more time in high school than I did. One day I was playing hooky, I was walking away from school, and I saw my friend Richard, just got out of reform school. He's breathing the air in Brooklyn, it's fresh. By the way, the air is fresh in Brooklyn when you get out of reform school. And he said, hey man, where you going? I said, hey man, I'm going out, I'm going to play hooky. He says, no, I can't play hooky. I said, come on. And then I thought about this kid, Jim, Isaiah, he's out in a Christian school. I say, hey man, they know we go onto the boardwalk, play dice, we go down to the pool hall, they catch us. But I know a perfect place, a Christian school. Who will look for you and me in a Christian school? And that was logic even for Richard. The subway becomes the elevator train in Coney Island. We kind of climb up, run across the track. You got to jump over the track, hit the third rail, you fry. You got to run between trains, save 15 cents in those days. Went way out to Queens. There I was, black leather jacket, skull, blood, motorcycle boots, looking cool. Walk into this Christian school, it's quiet. I'm used to guys fighting it out. I'm used to cops coming, surrounding the class, then taking someone off, wouldn't see them 6 months a year. I mean, I'm used to where they're holding teachers out windows. I mean, this is a tough place. And here it is quiet. I said to my friend, I said, man, this can't be a school. This got to be a morgue. I mean, there's something, nothing's moving here. Nothing's moving. And just then a teacher came down and sent a card. She looked at me and she said, can I help you? And you being cool, I said, yeah, man. Now, we knew the difference, but, you know, we're cool. We're looking for Jim Londas. Does he go to school here? Oh, yes, he's up in chapel. I'd never been in a chapel in my life. I didn't know what a chapel. She said, it's like assembly in public school. Would you like to go? I said, yeah, I don't want to go out there. So we went up in the chapel. Just as I got my hand on the door, she said, oh, by the way, it's week of prayer. I started to laugh. I couldn't stop. I said to my friend Richard, a week of prayer? I can't pray 5 seconds. How do they pray for a whole week? It's amazing. My first time, sat in the last row. That afternoon, I didn't get too much religion in the morning. That afternoon, we stole a boat, my brother and I. Went fishing. Still love to fish. Every time we come home, my wife says, catch any? I said, no, honey, I went fishing. Catching is another sport. So I went fishing in a stolen boat, my brother and I, and we're out in this stolen boat, and a storm comes up. You know, I mean, all of a sudden, we're out in a place called Gravesend Bay. If you ever go across the Verrazano Bridge from Staten Island, you look off to the right, that's Coney Island. Now they don't have the tenement section there. They have these tall buildings, but there was tenement section when I grew up. Gravesend Bay, and that's where the East River and the Hudson River come out, sweep out through the Narrows and out into the ocean. Here we are, rowing out. Storm comes up. Water's coming over the boat. My brother says, hey man, bail. So I take my motorcycle boot off. I'm trying to bail it out. He says, bail. He says, bail. I says, bail. I said, can't do it. I said, you bail. He says, you row. Just then the tide changed. 3 feet forward, 7 feet back. Have you ever tried to row against the tide? The boat's filling up. I fell down on my knees, prayed my first prayer. By the way, there are no atheists in sinking boats or crashing planes. The death angel moves around your heart. I don't care how cool you are. I said, God, get me in and I'll be good. And you know, isn't it nice that God heard the prayer? You teach kids that God only hears the prayers of good little kids and good little better. That's where you're wrong. He hears the prayers of bad little boys and bad little girls, and he, because he's good, loves them. So there I was. There was a break in the cloud. Have you ever been in a storm and the wind breaks the cloud, the sun comes down right on our little boat, not my little boat, whoever's little boat it was. And a speedboat came by, hooked us up, brought us in. I got my feet on the ground, and I forgot the prayer. How many of you done that? Come on now. And you get the doctor's report. Boy, I better get back to church. I better start going again. I mean, I got to be, come on. And then you forget it. God never forgets it. Every promise he writes down. Every promise. So next day I played hooky with my friend Richard, just out of reform school, went out to the academy. We listened a little bit. I was looking at the girl, checking the chicks out, and looking cool. That afternoon, we were going to have a block party in my neighborhood. Whenever we had a block party, we'd put the ash barrels over the corner, over the street, so no one could drive in. And then we'd put it over the other side. No one would drive in. Put up the ghetto bar. Man, we could boom, rock and roll. And we would have to get certain things for the party. My president gave me a little slip and said, eclairs, then meringue pies. All those things are not good for you now, but when you get to heaven, be real nice. I'm going to have an eclair tree right there in heaven. Believe me. So I broke into Brighton Beach Bakery, back window. You know the little white boxes, you put all those things. I was piling it up, man, lemon meringue. It's piled high. Well, I go out the back window, go out the front door, go out onto Neptune Avenue, and 6 blocks up onto Neptune, a patrol car. And being a theologian, I dropped what I had in my hands and started to run. Ran down an alleyway. You see, my neighborhood is so bad, they walk in threes even to this day. Patrolmen. They don't leave their car until they're sure. Because what we used to do was get them to run after us, and then someone jump in a patrol car, ride it off into the ocean. So, or throw ash barrels off the roof down. So I run down, and it's a dead-end alley. There's no way out. So now I'm coming with the second theological thing. How will I explain this? Well, officer, I was walking along, stepped in these cream puffs. It's terrible. Just then I noticed a fire escape on the side of the building. Jumped up, pulled the ladder down, started running up. You can't run up quiet up a fire escape. And the police, they're waiting, hoping I get away. Finally come around and said, stop or I'll shoot us up to the roof. Man, I would outrun the bullet. Gone. Next day, out to that academy, listen to them preach. This preacher talking about Christ. I started to listen a little bit. I first slid down in my seat don't ever slide down in the seat when I'm preaching, kids. Let me tell you, because I'll send the Holy Spirit after you. You will never sit like that again. Okay, get it? They get my drift. They get my drift. So there I was. Next day out at Greater New York Academy, out at that academy, and that night I needed some money. And what I used to do sometimes is get between the Van Sicklen station and the Brighton Beach projects and get in a dark place so someone come by with their pocketbook, a little old lady run out, grab the pocketbook. If they held on and knock them down, that's what sin does to you. So that night I ran out, grabbed the pocketbook, started pushing, she pulled back, screamed, and for the first time in my life I started to cry. Something happened to me. Unconsciously, I was sitting in that meeting that morning, something happened. First time in my life, I started to cry. I let go of the pocketbook. I ran that night. Fell between ash barrels in an alleyway, and all night long, I wondered, what was wrong with me? Was I going crazy? What is this? Here I am. I'm Ron Halverson. I'm Killer Halverson, man. I'm the man. Look at me. I didn't know what it was then. I know what it is now. It was the Holy Spirit of God. He was speaking to my heart. Hey, listen to me. When the Holy Spirit speaks to your heart, you better not refuse him, because that's the only sin that God cannot forgive. Blasphemy of the Holy Spirit. When he calls